Nigeria has entered what many experts and citizens describe as the most difficult era since the return to democracy in 1999. The country is facing battle after battle, and the funny part is that the battle does not end. It is super annoying. The journey from hope to hardship over the past 25 years reveals a story not of sudden collapse but of accumulated pressures, missed opportunities, and systemic backsliding that has successfully created earthquakes in the country. So, in this video, we will help you to trace the journey through Nigeria's presidential regimes from 1999 to 2025 and why Nigeria is still facing its worst crisis. Let's get started. When General Abdul Salami Abubakar in 1999 handed over power to Olusegun Obasanjo, there were some issues that still didn't sit right with the citizens. But let me brief you on the president after president, which are the good, ugly, the beast, the bad, and the worst of the worst. The first president we had was Olusegun Obasanjo, who ruled us from 1999 to 2007. I call him the foundation builder. His election was seen as a stability and experience Nigeria needed so much. The first civilian president after years of military rule. Obasanjo's tenure was marked by initial optimism and effort to rebuild democratic institutions, which the democracy per se is still not good as I'm speaking to you. His administration secured a landmark of $30 billion debt relief from the Paris Club and established key anti-corruption agencies. He initiated reforms in the banking sector, but people were seeing cracks in his tenure as administration was plugged by corruption and failed to address structural issues like insecurity and infrastructure decay. Also, his tenure was shadowed by a controversial attempt to amend the constitution to a third term, casting a long shadow over democratic norms. The guy was not serious, so he wanted to come back for third tenure, small power that they gave a civilian. He was thinking of ruling Nigeria for 12 solid years. People are really nuts in this country. The second person that ruled us was Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, who ruled us from 2007 to 2010. I see his tenure as the unfinished agenda. Yar'Adua's presidency was bitter and sweet put together. He was notable for his emphasis on the rule of law and a successful amnesty program in the Niger Delta. He himself acknowledged that the election that brought him to power was massively rigged, a candid admission that highlighted the persistent flaws in the electoral system from the very start of the Fourth Republic. For me, Yar'Adua even tried, even though he did not enter by merit. He did his best, and even the citizens that are experiencing this ridiculous economic situation, we can all stand up and clap for him together. Thank you so much, sir. Indeed, you did your best. Then the third person was Goodluck Jonathan, who ruled us from 2010 to 2015. Jonathan oversaw a period of significant economic growth, with Nigeria briefly becoming Africa's largest economy. We are glad that things were looking good in 2013, but after that year, things were soured and bitter. Boko Haram issue came up, and people saw that Jonathan was useless in tackling the insecurity. His defeat in 2015 election was a celebrated democratic milestone because people were saying that Jonathan was not the right person to rule us for the foreseeable future. But they were so wrong. Till this day, many of us wished that we stuck with Jonathan, and the person that came in was Muhammadu Buhari. He ruled us from 2015 to 2023. His tenure was the beginning of Nigeria's 10 years plus horrifying situations. He was elected on a powerful platform to fix security, fight corruption, and rebuild the economy. Buhari's two tenures delivered a powerful and regretful disappointment. People were mad and angry with him, his vice president, his minister of information, and many more of his counterparts. Funds were mismanaged. We were borrowing money anyhow without thinking straight, and the same security he said he would help Nigeria with was a big fat lie. Things were just too bad for the country. When people did not want Jonathan, they thought Buhari would be different. My people, or the same people used to say, the devil you know is better than the one you don't know. This statement I just made is for the president in power, which is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has been ruling us since 2023 to date. I call this one the reform gambler. He inherited an economy on the brink of infinite collapse. Tinubu began arguably the boldest reforms since 1999, which were immediate removal of the costly petrol subsidy and the unification of the foreign exchange rates. That fuel subsidy has not done a good thing for Nigeria. The hardship in the country is still there. People are still hungry and it has gotten worse. Inflation soared to 33.2% in 2024, and with food inflation far higher than ever, average family earners were transferred into the worst cost of living crisis in Nigeria's entire history. In fact, it is that bad as I'm speaking to you.
President Goodluck Jonathan promised voters he will defeat Boko Haram.
We must end it. I'm only telling you the stages. First is to take over all territories. When we take over all the territories, they are holding. They are becoming weaker. Now we'll improve our monitoring using superior technology to monitor the activities. Then we'll begin to pick them and of course frustrate the activities. So over the period, it will go.
So I have talked about all of them, but I want to talk about the debt crisis that is hitting Nigeria back and front. Nigeria's public debt has been a walking disaster since the day I was born. As of March 2025, the total public debt stood at 149.39 trillion naira, a year-on-year increase of 22.8% compared to 2024. The external debt alone reached 70.63 trillion naira, which is $45.98 billion, while domestic debt is about 78.76 trillion naira, which is $51.26 billion. The more they borrowed, the more Nigerians suffers, until the next person who wants to become president will suffer the same thing. And the more they borrowed, the more our currency depreciated. Many people were warning the government that borrowing is a stupid idea, especially when we are too broke to repay back the money. Even when the money came, it was not used for our own good, but it was used for the government's own good. The ordinary Nigerians were feeling the pinch of eating once a day, reduced public services, and a terrible job situation. Once they are done borrowing and don't utilize the money for our own good, they will be showing us that they are as incompetent as they look. Funny enough, being an incompetent politician has become a recurring pattern in Nigeria's history. We have seen it all, both the past government, whether you are in the highest position or whether you are in the lowest position, we have seen it all. Inside that incompetent pattern they have been using for us, they are still incompetent as ever in protecting their own citizens. In November 2025, over 300 students were abducted from schools in Kebbi and Niger states within a week. We've not heard much, or if that same exact 300 students are back to their family. The military are trying, but it is still not enough. Military spending alone reached 19.38 trillion naira between 2020 and 2023. Yet again, insecurity continues to rise like flood in Nigeria. This so-called government focus too much on their political ambitions rather than results. The government allocates huge sums to security but fails to address the root causes of insecurity, such as poverty, unemployment, and lack of education. If many of these kidnappers were given jobs that makes them to leave crime, they won't be doing this evil crime that we are facing every single time. The National Economic Council recently approved 100 billion naira to rehabilitate security agencies' training institutions, but many Nigerians remain skeptical about the effectiveness of such measures. Nigerians believe that it won't help, and they also believe with their whole hearts that such measures won't do anything in terms of security, because we need stronger and tighter hands who will do the dirty work deep and deep. Nigerians, we are really trying.
There's been a rise in the frequency of mass kidnappings and the number of attacks in parts of Nigeria. On November the 17th, armed men stormed a predominantly Muslim girls' school in Kebbi State, kidnapping 25 students, and 64 people were snatched from their homes in neighbouring Zamfara. In the same week, 52 students were abducted from a Catholic school in Niger State.